Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Talks with Griff, where we bring on inspirational and impactful people to show what it is they're doing out there in the world, to show how they're impacting individuals, how they're helping people elevate to higher levels, how they are expressing their value throughout the world and essentially making the world a better place one person at a time. As you already know, candle of the evening in honor of the Godfather himself, Spikes Blackberry again. Now I know y'all can't smell this one. I know. I know y'all can't smell any of them, right? Think of think of blueberries, raspberries, and any really dark berry that you may espouse. Add a little bit of spiced black pepper on there, and then voila, it's amazing. But tonight, I'm pretty sure y'all can see this beautiful lady on the other side of the screen right here, but don't worry about that right now. She's gonna let y'all know what's going on. We got the creative director, the founder of Elevator Productions, Llama Gang in the building. Also the founder of Vibrate CBD. Ladies and gentlemen, we got CEO Money Bags, Brittany Granger back in the seat. How you doing, man? How you doing, man? Hey, next time we do this, stream deck. I'm gonna have an applause. That's coming next. It's already coming down. That's already coming down.
Audience applause.
Yes. How you doing, man? What's going on with you?
Dude, we're vibing. We're high energy. Glad to be back. I'm excited. Look at the growth. Like from where we started versus where we are now. It's just crazy.
Yes. A lot of people really fell in love with the show we did. I think we did that show almost about a year ago, right? And just looking at
that was 2020, no?
I think so. Almost 2 years ago we did that show. That's crazy. And then look where you've come. Even before we get to the show, let's just take a moment to give you a congratulations to all the success that's happened from 2020 up until this point. Ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't know, when I was a fitness trainer, right, I got in contact with this woman. She helped me establish a marketing plan. She helped me establish a funneling plan to get clients. And we even ended up doing a photo shoot, right? And she ended up posting it on her IG not too recently. But who would have known precisely to the T 2 years later that this woman would reach out to me personally, phone call, and say, yo, ever since I met you, your energy has been consistent all the way through. Whatever I've given, you've given it back tenfold. I want to give you this opportunity to be an athlete for my company. I'm like, yo, you can't make this up, right? You can't make, so tell the people about the recent success that has happened and what's to come in the future.
Yeah, so much has happened. Right. I've always been like, I be in the background low key and shit. So like talking about it, it's kind of like surreal to talk about almost, but we with it. So when we last spoke, I was living in Cali, San Francisco, right? I said, fuck it, like Alante, he was really helping me out, like getting me situated, like as far as like being really supportive in the fact that I was going to and from Texas. And then he was like, yeah, like I was like, hey, I'm gonna move out early, but like, like I'm going to Texas. He was like, okay, yeah. Like super supportive. So I took my ass to Texas real quick because I knew that if I changed my environment again, right? Like I established in California, I established my network, I established a lot of who I am, within like finding myself. And I was like, okay, it's time to do it again. Because if I could do it once, I could do it twice. You know what I mean? And I could do it even better with all the information I received over the last 4 years in Cali. So I'm like, okay, let me just fucking do this. So I did it. And now here I am in Austin, Texas. And the beginning was a little interesting because I stayed with somebody and it was just like, nah, it was a no-go. So I got my own crib real quick. And then just started racking the fuck up. Like I was like, no, like I am committed. I knew that like, so back in, I don't even fucking remember. I don't even care about time. But when I was in Hawaii, I was at this black sand beach and I was sitting there, bro. Like I was literally like, vibe right. Like I knew I always wanted my own cannabis brand. I knew that I needed to start somewhere and that I wanted to start in the place that I felt most at home, which was like my inner like personal development. Like that's where I felt like, okay, like if I'm gonna do anything and bring anything to the marketplace, I want it to be something I'm sincerely passionate about, something that I use daily, something that I purchase myself, you know, and I have been for years on years. Just, you know, like being a stoner is cool, like hitting my bong in the beginning, yeah, whatever. But like really, really for me, like fitness has been like my like savior. Like literally love, always been athletic. Like I think that if I never was athletic, I'd be like probably I would actually have died. Like when I went through my whole like thing when before I moved to Cali, I almost fucking died, and then here I am not dead, and like it's pretty wild. But like all of that, like fitness has always been the thing that was consistent for me. Fitness and cannabis and CBD, you know, like especially CBD, because like recovery for me was always very important. Like even though I didn't care about my mind at the time, or, you know, like so much of, you know, my health, I always cared about my body in some sort of way. Like, I guess I was just raised to care, you know, about like appearance, taking care of yourself, taking care of your skin, you know, like your nail, all of that. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do this. Like, I was sitting on that black sand beach in Hawaii, like, all right, you know, like,
yeah.
I have no idea how I'm gonna do this. I have no idea where to start. I'm just gonna do it. So then, that was like back when I launched Elevated Productions, my event company, and like that was when I was in Chicago for like whatever that I had the thought of Vibrite. I've been thinking of my cannabis company for years, but like really, really had the thought when I went to Hawaii and Vibrite. Like that's when Vibrite became Vibrite, and I was like, okay, like, and it all stemmed from there, right? And so I said, fuck it. I came here to Texas, and I was like, Vibrite, like this is the time. It's now. The time is now. Do it now. So I was like, all right, where do I start? So I just started on Google.
Yeah, as always, right? Trusted Google.
Yeah, just like what it requires, like what does Texas law require for a CBD company? I just got really committed to it. So I got committed to Vibrite. I got it established. I set it up just like I helped you with your fitness. It was pretty much the same, except there was a whole bunch of other things that I had to do, you know, that cost money along the way. But ultimately just racked up, invested in real estate, been focused on crypto investments and trading crypto and doing all that, right? Vibrite, man, like I put my heart into it. I drew my logo by hand, and then, you know, from there, just like boom, next, the development. And then it came to the point where I was like, okay, well, how am I gonna market this shit? Because like I can't do this alone. I'm not really present on social media. It's not something that I would say I'm really strong on the back end of business. Like being on the fore end of business, like I can develop a marketing plan. I can tell you like, oh, if we do this, and this, but like logically, like logistically, I need somebody to make it happen. Because like if I'm just like, okay, this is how this works, okay, next thing, you know, like I was like, okay, who is like me? And I started compiling a list in the back end and just watching people keeping tabs, including you. Like I was like, okay, Dorian's been like really fucking consistent, like even since you launched your fitness thing, like even you haven't posted so much about it, but you still have been growing and developing in other ways, and like focusing on yourself, you know, and really figuring out what it is that you want to bring, you know, how much value can you bring to the marketplace. Like your focus has been growing that. And I was like, okay, put them on a list, goddamn. So I put you on the list. And I put a couple other people, you know, and then there's people along the way that I met that just kind of fell into my hands, I guess, like Irma and like a couple of the other athletes, like 22. Like they kind of were just like, oh, like you guys are like that little missing piece that like I didn't know I needed. Like I didn't, your energy like aligns, and it blends well with this one and this one and this one. But like you specifically, I was like, okay, like notes. Oh, he's focused. And then like anybody Alante introduces me to, I'm super trustworthy of, because of my trust with Alante, and like his loyalty, his friendship. I value it. Like, so that's gang. And if gang was like, he cool, like that's gang. I'm like, all right, like you know, there's some level of trust there where I'm like, all right, I, you know, I can see for myself, but ultimately it opened this entire thing up, right?
The handstand push-ups in Lois's living room. That shit was crazy. That shit was crazy.
I needed the evidence. I'm like, okay, well then do it. Like shit. Just show me. Like I don't really care for the talk. You feel me? Just show me.
Yeah, exactly.
So same with Vibe, right? I carry that energy with everything that I do. Like I rather show not tell. So I'm like, okay, like who can I keep? And then I'm like, you know what, like athletes. And then I thought of all the brand ambassadorships, all the free shit I've done for other brands, all the free photo shoots, all the shit that like I never gotten credit for. I've never, you know, like anything. And I'm like, okay, well, like I think that when I bring people on board, not only do I want like sales reps, like I want you guys to fucking be generating 6 figures annually just through posting about CBD. Like that's a fucking vibe. And that laptop is a vibe, or the screen.
Yeah, I was wondering why it wasn't moving, but I was like, I'm missing something here, but it's all good. We'll be back.
Something's not off. No.
Yeah, honestly, I'm like everything's right, but something's off. Go ahead.
So I was like, all right, but I'm gonna bring it where they can generate income. Like I want to create another stream of income for people. Like my goal is generational wealth, not just for me, but like for everybody that's in my circle, anybody who's supporting me, who's honoring what I do, like at the level that you guys are as athletes. Like I have so much respect and I, you know, have a devotion to that. So I'm like, how can I, even though right now I'm a startup, right? How can I give them a means, a way of where it's like, because brands give me shit all the time. And I'm like, if I really wanted your shit, I would just buy it. Like, to be honest, like, it's, you know, like, it's never about the money for me. And if I want something, I'm going to get it. So simple. So I'm like, okay, well, I could give them free shit. That would be cool to start. But like, nobody's going to want to be a part of something where they're not being able to, you know, fund their own, you know, aspiration dreams, because like as an athlete and being so committed like to health and wellness and stuff, that's just something that we do. That's just
it's a lifestyle. Right.
Yeah, that's an additive. So like I was like, okay, how can I keep this as an additive where it's like it's not something you're totally focused on, you know, all the time, but it's helping me with my marketing. It's helping me like with so many other areas of just talking about CBD from so many different perspectives and so many different types of people. And I feel like there's not enough talk about holistic healing, especially in, you know, the brown community.
Definitely
so like,
not.
Okay, like,
that's why we're here.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, so like this works. Like everybody is aligned and like let's just do this. So I'm like, okay, we launch. I get the athletes on board and now we're like full throttle. I'm throwing this fucking event. I have to change the dates because of just some trials and tribulations through the process and like learning. And I'm like, okay. But then something better fell into my lap. So I'm like, it aligns with other dates for that better opportunity. And it's like I have to kind of put my ego aside in a way where it's like, I know I can make something happen, right? And I could put what 50K I was investing into this event. And I'm like, I could put 50K right now into this event just on some ego shit, throw some big ass marketing event to launch Vibe Right and like, because I can. But then I'm like, well, I can also take half of that and invest it into real estate, another quarter of that, and invest that into crypto, and then take the remainder and put 10% of that into a savings where it's like literally just like fun money for me later, you know, down the road where I could just like ball out on something. Like I like shoes, so I might just go buy some Prada shoes or something after the event. You feel me? Like I might,
yeah, just a little bit. I tell people all the time,
I'm
a little bougie.
Yeah, I might buy 3,000 acres in Puerto Rico. Who knows? Anything can happen. Anything can happen. So I'm like, all right, there's a better way for me to utilize this money that's gonna ultimately achieve more than one goal. And so that's where I'm at right now, and that's what the future is looking like. I'm throwing this fat ass marketing event. I'm still gonna do it. I'm just gonna do it differently. And a better opportunity fell into my lap. So I'm like, okay, and it works out with after I had that decision, like I was like, okay, I was, you know, weighing my option, right? And like this is something that we go through as people and business owners where it's like my mental sanity or the growth of my business. And it's like I put my mental health above the business, and ultimately that elevated both. And
That's where it
it's
starts,
like,
exactly.
yeah, I'm like, okay, like time has never been a factor for me. So like this is not something that has to happen right now, even though I want it to happen right now. And it's I want what I want. But
And I
yeah.
want it right goddamn now. I want it right now.
I want it like, and I can have it right now, and I know I
Yeah.
can. And that's where the discipline comes in. And so yeah, the future holds with just me just continuing to multiply 10x what I did last year. I was invested 6 figures into myself. Like I've
Mm-hmm.
had a lot of success over the last year just being hyper focused on the goal, because I made a lot of money in the cannabis industry in California, but like I didn't have the mindset to really generate something, for the long term. I just had the mindset of like reinvest it for now, reinvest it for now, reinvest it for now, instead of reinvest it now for later.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I completely shifted my mindset, and like with that change came more money, and then with more money came more responsibility, and like I have a whole team like on Vibrite. I have like a lot of things that I'm like crossing them off, from the whole that I have as the goal, and I'm like, holy shit.
That's truly the beginning of it, because I remember even this year, 2020, 2021, this year within itself, you can only focus on three goals max at a time, right? So when you end up making a list of things that you want to achieve throughout that year, you've already cemented it in your mind. At that point, the universe is going to get out of your way and allow you to do what you need to do. And in your process, in the process of doing that, it's also going to align you with who you need to know to make that happen too. Just like how you mentioned earlier, mindset versus the growth of your business. And you already understand now that your mindset and your elevation as a woman, as a business owner, as an individual is directly correlated to what's going to happen within your business. Everything you decide to do has a ripple effect. So it's either put your mental sanity
Triple.
aside. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Put put that
Like my week,
aside.
anyways. Not the crypto.
Nah, just it's gonna grow. It's going to grow. It has no choice but to.
Yeah.
But you also find too, there's a flip coin to that, right? If you don't choose to take some time to yourself, step back for a little bit, focus on what you need to do for yourself. You're like, shit, it's falling apart in crypto. Shit, what's happening with my investments in real estate? Just what did I just say? Like everything's right, but something's off. And you take a step back, you're like, okay, I see what's off. Let me just everybody don't call me for a week. Book my meetings a week behind. If you need me, shoot a text, preferably an email to the representative, and I'll get back with you, right? Rest is a big part of achieving our goals. And that's something that I'm actually learning myself, especially as it pertains to recovery. We have a lot of trauma stored in the hips, right? And as men, we naturally have tight hips. So every night or every other night, I spend about 20 minutes on the floor just opening up, just allowing myself to be prepared to receive what's coming to me.
Yeah. Not the hip openers. Hey, high key though, like how has Vibrate been treating you, like from your perspective?
Every time we talk, man, I still think like this is crazy. Like it's just it's wild because I'm getting feedback from people who watch, like they watch, but they like all they do is just watch. They don't really say anything until you see them in person. And then you see them in person, like I get questions and then I tell them exactly what happened to a T. Can't really give them all of the tea, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, I know her, I met her, this wasn't discussed. She fucks with me, I fuck with her. We got to talking. Some time passed. She did her thing. I did my thing. I got an opportunity, so I took it. But the main thing that I'm understanding about Vibrate and just being a part of the community is learning from other people within the community as well, learning from the athletes. Even though it's just a very select few of us right now, other people still find themselves drawn to what we're doing. Prime example, I talked to Erms for a little bit. She was doing the fruit fast. I was like, yo, I'm gonna do a fruit fast with you. A virtual fruit fast, right? One, I haven't done one in a minute, or that was my first time. No, that's not my
Nah, but
first time
fuck
doing
that
the
fruit
fruit
fast.
fast. It was kind of intense for a little bit. I'm not gonna lie to you. I had done a detox. Yeah, shout out to Ernst though, man. When you watch this, shout out to you, man, because you was out there killing it. Not even gonna lie to you, man. It was I hadn't done a detox in a minute, so I figured, shoot, now why not do it with her? We stayed in contact with each other for a little bit. I was like, yo, I got papaya, I got watermelon, I got pomegranate. You know, we doing it, and we just connected like that, right? It's shown me that people may say that they want to be elevated or that they may want to be higher, right? They don't understand that that's an energetic thing. It's something you choose to do every single day. And with Vibe Right, like even with the things that I post, with the things that Jay posts, the things that you post, the thing that 22 posts, you see that these people are all on the same journey, just differently. Jay just got married. He's in a whole nother season of his life, right? Erms is you know, she's doing a fruit fasting thing. She's focusing on her mental, spiritual, and the gym. That's where she's at right now. You kind of in the mix of doing the same thing, making sure that your body is right, making sure that your mind is right, and at the same time you got this event coming up. Same thing with me. It's like these past couple of years, it's just been my internal peace. That's been the only thing that's been prevalent. And I'm gonna say this live right now because I have not posted it. My slogan or mental tattoo that I've cemented is peace over pussy. Now they if they block that out on YouTube, then they just block that out on YouTube. Pushing P.
Peace over pussy.
No, honestly though, because when you let's take it back to you, right? You've worked so hard to get to where that you're at right now. And you're understanding the balance of peace and making sure that your business is thriving. You have to thrive also, right?
Yeah.
You will do any and everything to protect your peace just as much you will do any and everything to protect what you've built. That's why you're very selective with who you give access to when it comes to those type of things, right?
Yeah.
So Vibe Right is just it's more than just, you know, people seeing it as like a CBD company, like, oh, you know, she's in the cannabis industry, you know, and it's about recovery. Like, yeah, it's about recovery, but it's way more than that. It's way more than that. And I don't think people understand the person behind it, as into why you created it and where it's gonna go at from there. Just like how you mentioned, like Vibe Right candles, clothing, like when they get a chance to meet us, they're gonna see. They're gonna see.
Here's the thing, like I have to take responsibility for that too, though, because I am so in the background and in the cut. Like I don't share my story. I don't talk about nothing that I'm doing ever. I just pop out with shit. I really just pop out with shit, and then I'm just like, okay, like
I'm doing this. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, I don't know if you guys know, but like
that's the best way to do it though. Like not everybody needs to know.
Yeah, but I do think that my story, I actually was told, because I've been doing the 10X mentor. I've been doing the 10X mentor since 2019. Like that's just nothing new to me.
You went to the damn convention. That's what's up. You were there.
I've been doing this shit like for years. You know, I've been really focused on like the back end, and like this is what I go through. Like a lot of people don't see this because like they just watch me on social media. Nobody actually like, I don't know,
inquires.
Like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like in the background, like I really do be working really hard. Like I really put a lot of myself into what I do, and like I pop out with these things, but it's like no, like this is like I don't think people understand the level of information, how much money I've had to pay for information to even get to this point where I can feel comfortable and confident doing something like this, because it's like, you know, like I just pop out, but like at the same time, my story can inspire a lot of people. Like at the same time, you know, so like in the back end, I'm doing all this work that nobody's really seeing, and they just see me get these rewards, and it's like I need to take responsibility for the fact that like nobody really knows what's really happening, who like is really behind these brands, because I don't talk about myself. You know what I mean? Like I don't know, like if you want to know about me, come get to know me. You know what I mean? Like look at my fro right now. It's just like I don't know what it's even doing.
It's doing its thing. Just edges laid, fro doing this thing is fine.
It's all tickling. Good. It's tickling my neck though. So
yo, if she buzz caps, we might have to cut the show because you know she like that. Don't pull up on this woman in the streets. No, I'm just playing.
He's not wrong, but yeah, for real, like it's like totally my responsibility to like take action on sharing my story, because there's a lot of people, you know, that I had to leave behind in order to focus on this growth and this development. And there's a lot of things left unsaid. There's a lot of things that I never even talk about that I go through. There's a lot of things that I feel like I don't even want to talk about, because it's like I would rather people just hear positive things and stay focused on the positive, right? But at the same time, it's like that's not who's really behind the brand, like, you know what I mean? Like,
how can they really relate to you? Like we in our last show, you mentioned one of the things that you were struggling with is just cutting people off right off the gate. Like if they aren't who you, I guess, thought they were at that point in time, or if you ask them to get something done and they just fall short, you like X out next.
I still am like that.
Damn.
Like I ain't even gonna stun on you, but like it's really like I realized that wasn't a bad thing, you know, like that really like helped me in business a lot. Like I really am like, yo, without that, look, I did learn some lessons, though there's a lot of karmic ties that I needed to let go of that I just didn't. And I held on to people and just constantly just gave them this rope and pulled them up when they
trying to drag them, right?
Yeah, and like Alante always tells me, he's like giving them the rope. They'll hang themselves with it, or they'll use it to pull themselves up and level up. You know, right? Motherfucker, I was holding that motherfucker. Motherfuckers was hanging on that bitch, and I'm holding the damn rope. Like, yeah. I need to let that bitch drop. Like, let it go. Let it go. It's not, you know, like it's not my
your responsibility to do that. And a lot of people get that confused when it comes to, oh, I want to be like you, your energy's so straight, you're so peaceful. How did that happen? Bro, just like how Big Sean said, this shit ain't happen overnight. Like y'all just see the change in the success.
3 hours last night alone in my house.
That's what I'm saying. And like that's the serious aspect of it. Like when you alone, it's just you and you just sitting there. You thinking either I'm gonna just allow myself to be broken, or I'm gonna get up and show myself that I can't be broken. There's more to this spirituality, growth mindset, evolution thing outside of light and happiness, right? I talk about the darkness all the damn time. Like that is where you grow, right? So one of the things that I want to ask you, and if you feel comfortable going into this, you know, we definitely can go on and do that. What is going on here? I'm about to lose it. It looked like it was, and I'm gonna lie to you. I gotta cut one up and just take it through. Just reach through and take it. So this thing is saying we got 10 minutes left, so we're gonna end up. Here's what I'm gonna do. We're gonna go until maybe like 2 minutes. I'm gonna save this clip, and then we're gonna come back in, because apparently my upgrade for Zoom is not upgraded. But anyway, so let me ask you this real question real quick. You mentioned going through a very, very dark phase in your life where that you almost died, truly, right? I've been wanting to ask about this myself because I'm curious. I just wanted to know if you felt comfortable talking about it, just obviously off scene, not live like this. But how did you get through that, and how did you end up there in the first place? Like, where was your mind at, and where were you at internally when you were in that space?
Really, like, it's kind of wild to like. There's definitely, I don't know. I really have no idea. But what led up to that was a lot of mental abuse towards myself, and like coming from outside sources as well. That was I was consistently surrounding myself with these type of people that just like had, you know, really nothing like positive about life to say, right? So being surrounded by that, on top of like how I felt about myself, that led up to the point where I was just like committed to drugs. Like I was literally like game for anything. Like I'll go hard. Like I don't give a fuck. Like I could handle anything, you know what I mean? And like it was to the point where I literally could handle anything, and I'm like, okay, like this is like lit, you know? Like I could do whatever I want. And so I took it like 10 times further than I needed to take it. And then one day, like I was just really like out of myself. Like there was no thought to it. It was just in the moment I was like, nah, like today's the day. Like I decided, like I don't know, like a while back I had set a date, and I've always been a journaler. Like I always wrote, I love writing. And I set a date for the day that I knew that I was supposed to be dead. I don't know, it was weird. Mm. So I did. And then and then the date came, and I literally that day, like I didn't know this was the day until I knew it was the day, until, you know, when I actually like look back and shit. Mm-hmm. Like because after the fact, like, so I did what I had to do and pretty much just like overdid my part, and then like 10 times that. But like I guess at some point in that, I don't know what happened, but I woke up like days later. Like I don't even know how much time passed. I have no fucking idea. I didn't even know I was gonna wake up, goddamn. So I was super surprised waking up. Because I definitely feel like I died. Like I don't know. I can't really explain it, but like I was not there. Like I was seeing myself outside of myself, you know, and like I was like, oh, okay, like, cool. Like, I've always, like, I don't know. I grew up, like, kind of whatever, like, with the mindset. And then I always hurt myself. So, like, to me, hurting myself was, like, okay. Like, it was something that was, like, normal for myself. Like, I self-harmed. I, you know, abused drugs. I, you know, everything that can harm yourself. Like, I was game. I was, like, oh, we might have to run from the cops. I might like jeopardize my entire life just for this one turn up. Okay, that's fine. I was gay. I don't know. Whatever in my head said that was cool. Oh, we just gonna rob this store, like get some liquor.
Grand Theft Auto.
13 years old. Like, oh, okay. Oh, on lunch. School. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, just wild, just so many unknown, and like things just led up to that point. And then I woke up and I was like, what the fuck? And then my girl called me, and apparently I had like, I don't even know how much time I missed at work. I checked my phone. I woke up and everybody was surprised I was awake, and I was surprised goddamn myself. So
of course, like, yo, I've been out for 72 hours. What the fuck going on?
I didn't even like, I don't even remember how long, like, I don't even know how long they told me I was out. I just know it was days on end, because I just remember going, getting a call from work. Like, I went to this Wiz Khalifa concert that my friend picked me. I just posted about it, actually, like 6 years ago. And my friend, I bought tickets to a Wiz Khalifa concert probably when I was fucked up at some point. And so we was going to Wiz Khalifa, and my girl, I just found this out actually like yesterday, that she borrowed our friend's Jeep to get us there. She drove us to Wiz Khalifa and Snoop Dogg, and I don't remember shit. I honestly, for like the next couple months, like it's a lot. Like from like when I was fucking 16 to like 20, it's like really I'm just like, oh shit. But like from 13 to really when I moved to Cali is when I went to Cali is when I really got sober. Like the first year I was like, I was in and out because I still have my little backup stash. But then like I decided one day to flush everything and like commit, and like I did, and it was just like trials and tribulations off the Cali, whatever. So the story. And yeah, so I don't know. I don't really know what led me to it, other than the fact that I think that it was something I manifested upon myself through my actions. And then on top of it, like just writing, I was always doing some trippy shit. And like there's a lot of times I would write when I was tripping, and like I know now I'm very intuitive, and like am really so like I have a really strong I'm able to read minds, I feel like, and without people having to tell me, you know, directly, like I'm very, what's the word where people empathetic, I guess. I learned that was like really something that I could see like the future, you know what I mean? Like I could create, I'm a powerful manifester. And so through my vision and what I write, so I'm like looking back at these
it comes to
like, damn.
Right, it comes to fruition. And you being a journaler, you don't know that you are actually writing out your life truly. That's where you are right now, right? And that being in that space and having the confidence to commit to turning away from that. People don't understand that if it wasn't for that, the woman that they see today probably wouldn't even be here, right? You said like you were on the fence about like, should I let it go? Should I not let it go? And you like, bruh, if I got this, all of this can't come with me, right? Like some of this, something
all
has
of this
to
has
go.
to go. Everything has to go. Everything is contaminated.
It's toxic. It needs to go. It needs to go.
What's meant to be will come back.
Forgive me for that, ladies and gentlemen. Technical difficulties. Side note, pay y'all subscriptions and y'all won't have to go through what I just went through. It's because Zoom wasn't acting like that before. Now she being stingy. Now she want a little money. At first you could just
you better throw me at $3.
Yeah, you could just roll. Now she like, you gonna have to pay me. Back at it though. You got through that. You made the decision to change. You started changing. So what was that development process for you like? So you say, to hell with it. Everything gotta go. We starting fresh, clean slate. Was that difficult for you, or did you find it easier to manifest and take action on the things that you wanted and the change that you wanted to see happen?
Well, once I committed to letting everything go, like, honestly, I kind of already had that fuck it mentality. So I felt the same way about everybody and everything. I was like, fuck it. Like, none of this is giving me what I wanted. So fuck it. Nobody here is doing what I want. So fuck it. You know, like, fuck it. And so, fuck it. I just dipped. And then once I dipped, I was like, all right, like, I actually felt like all the weight off my shoulders, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, you felt lighter. Yeah.
Hold on. It's kind of crazy. And then it took me a little bit to get my mind back, really. I got back into the gym and really just got my mind back. Like, there was a lot that was left, like, because of the decisions I made that affects me to this day, you know, mentally, physically. There's a lot of imbalances, you know, that I have to continue to develop and heal, I guess. I want to say I'm healed now, but like there's at that point, like there was a lot of healing that needed to be done. On top of like remembering even how to start. So the one place I knew and you know, that always came back to me was cannabis and fitness. And so I got sober, everything other than cannabis, because weed has never really been like something that's like I'm addicted to, you know what I mean? Like at any moment I could take a tolerance break if I really want. Like there was a time where I just decided to stop smoking for a year because of the guy I was dating. Like it was just like one of those, like weed's always just been like something that's always enhanced whatever I was doing, never something that I looked to heal or like cover up what, you know, was happening around me.
Use it as a coping mechanism.
Yeah, exactly. So just got back into my shit, and that shit was hard. Like it was not easy, you know. It's like a lot of like I already mentally abused myself. So can you imagine what it's like trying to change who you are and redevelop your personality, like to be who you want to be? It's like man, I was soccer bopping myself, goddamn. Like,
Shadowbox.
I love soccer bops. Don't do me. I love soccer bops. That's my like go-to, like with my friends, like when I feel like they really just need to be like bopped in the head sometimes. Sometimes people just need a bop, you know what I mean? Like including myself.
Just a quick one.
And the soccer bops are meant for that. Like that is the healthy way.
Gotta keep that in the office. Keep that in the office.
It's best for everybody involved. Or we're gonna take it to the streets. It's one of the no.
The streets are always waiting for you.
So yeah, it was really hard, honestly though. It's really hard. Like I have all the journals, like I kept everything. I kept all the notes to and from my best friend from like where I started when I first when she first went to rehab, first of all, and then I went to rehab soon after her. And then that's when like obviously that shit didn't work because, you know, the outcomes. But you know, like I have the evidence of every moment, and like every new journal, I go back to my previous journal and I'll flip to like a random moment in that journal, because I pretty much write every day. If not, like sometimes I'm not as consistent as I'd like to be, but that's okay because we're not perfect, right? Nobody asks us to be. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, but just about every day I write, whether I'm writing down my goals or I'm just like free, like minding, like just letting my thoughts to flow without judgment. So I'll flip to like a random date and like just remind myself like, yo, like look how far you've come.
I
Like,
was here. Yeah, I tell people that all the time. Like people tend to ask me questions about, how did you get to be this griff today, or the man that we see today, and what is it that you go through, or how did you choose to commit? And I just remember deciding not to. I say change happens in an instant over time, right?
yeah,
And so I talk to my sister about it all the time. She's like, I've been watching you from the beginning. Like you was in your apartment. I think I've told this story to y'all before, but if y'all haven't heard it, we go. So I told her my car, and I got fired from my job the same day. And I was living in an apartment with friends. They all had jobs, so they was pretty much good. But I didn't have anything. Like I had to find a way to, first of all, I had to find another job, and then I had to find a way to get to that job. But I also had just got out of an abusive relationship at the time as well. Like she was actually putting her hands on me. So I remember just laying.
man,
I was laying in bed one day,
soccer pops,
man. Soccer
got it.
pops.
Up,
I was,
people.
I was laying in bed one day, and I was like, I don't want to feel like this anymore.
Yeah,
And in that moment, it was just like it was like an upgrade. So from that point on, like that's where fitness started for me. That's where my whole developmental journey started. And the majority of that journey is alone. You're just journeying through learning more about you, learning what works, what doesn't work, learning what no longer serves you. And I think a lot of people in our generation are, they kind of find themselves in limbo. Like you're not the person who you were, but you're
yeah,
not yet who you're becoming. So
yeah,
you're just walking along. And so within that process of walking, you're like, have I made progress? Like, am I different? Do I move differently? Do I think different? Do I tolerate things the same, right? And eventually you just end up getting fed up, and you just say, even if I can't see the fruits of my labor now, I know that I've made some progress, so I have to keep going. And
yeah,
eventually you look up, and then a company's built, or you wrote your first book, or you're doing a podcast, right? Or your body's changed drastically. You know what I'm saying? And I think a lot of people tend to, they don't give enough credit to themselves based on what it is that they went through. Everybody has gone through something, but it's what you choose to do with it that matters in the end.
facts. I totally agree with that. And like, damn, I feel like you told me this story before, but I didn't know like Shorty was nuck if you buck. You feel me? Like
Mm-hmm.
that's like I don't know. I just it don't sit right with me. Anybody who puts their hands on somebody else, it never has. Like I don't even like. I'm not even like the whooping type. Like damn, like fuck. I got whoopings as a kid. Don't get me wrong, but like it's
Yeah,
just like fuck. Like that's very that can instill a lot of trauma into someone, especially in a
definitely.
partnership like that, or you as a man, like if you do choose to protect yourself, now you're in the wrong, especially as a black man on top of it. Oh lord, like that's just like 10 folders in one, one thing
Mm-hmm.
after another, and
Mm-hmm.
it's just not right by any means. But karma always, pays its dues, in
Mm-hmm.
divine timing. And it teaches us a lot about like what we need to learn. Cause like at the end of the day, through all of like the toxic relationships that we have in life, whether that be, intimate, as friends, or like, where you're in a partnership and, sexually active with one another, and like doing, like all types of relationship, business, anything, any type of relationship, like there's some people that we attract to us and we're like we need to take responsibility of us attracting them to us. There's things within that
Definitely.
person that's a
Definitely.
reflection of us, and there's things that that person is meant to make us aware of, if that makes sense. Like, I think that a lot of people, especially the karmics, are meant to teach us boundaries. And like really they teach us the shit that like we're too stubborn, that we're not getting the message. I feel like those are the ones that when we go through those awakening moments to the extreme, like it doesn't have to be so extreme, and I think we learned that through our process, that we don't really need to sit through the extremes like that. But at some point we needed to go through that to learn how to kind of divvy out what's worth and not worth our energy, in the sense that it's like, not that nobody's not worth it, it's just like
it's not worth that shit. It's not worth my peace.
Yeah,
it's not worth trying to drag somebody along the way. Like, I tell people that there's no need for you to self-sacrifice yourself for the sake of someone else's healing or your own. I don't find it necessary. I don't think it's conducive to have to go through something that extreme to learn the lesson. Just go sit your ass down somewhere and look back at what you've allowed, decide that that's not going to happen anymore, stand 10 toes down on it, and just continue to move. You don't have to be disrespectful when it comes to people like this, because those people that came into our lives that taught us them hard ass lessons, there was no mercy thought in their mind. They were just moving mad, right? And so now we're in the process of learning, like, once this boundary is here, one, I need to communicate and let you know that this shit is not going to fly. I ain't got to call you out your name. I just got to let you know, like, look, don't do that. When I see that you're not trying to change, not necessarily for me, but because you want what is here, then I know for a fact that I got to let this go, right? Because I'm going to do whatever it takes to get my peace back on track. We work too damn hard to maintain that.
Right. And like, there's red flags. Like, people are always like, oh, if you see red flags, but it's like, no, like, red flags are indicators, and indicators are good. Like, those are, I want to see red flags, but what I want to see more is someone who's like, yeah, I'm aware of these things, that are red flags. I'm aware of the things that I need to work through, and red flags are only red flags when there's no change, so it's like, okay, if you communicate, so we have to do our part in every relationship, in the fact that of communication, right? Like, communication, key. So it's like, okay, we communicate, and then you are now aware that I'm aware. Like, so you say you're already aware of these things, right? The red flags. And now I'm making you aware that you're overstepping a boundary, and that's a red flag. Now, if you do this shit again, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna bounce. Like, I'm cool. You know what I mean? Like, it took us, because when you actually are a loyal person, it's really, really hard. just
they don't give you the manual
it's
to
hard
that
to
shit.
just go. It's
They
really
don't
hard.
give you the manual. And what I found out is that when they do come across people like us, the reason why, like, they're so invested in the beginning and they want to stay and kind of feed off your energy for a little bit is because they may never have experienced the type of love or attention to the degree of us being able to give it to them, right? So they're like, shit, I've never had anything like this. I don't know if I deserve this. I'm not here with this person's best interest at heart. So either two things are gonna happen. They're gonna end up gaslighting you, or they gonna remove themselves from the scene, but still trying to keep you along on the end just a little bit, because they like, ooh, like, I like you, but like, I don't want to get too close. It's like, I like that you need to go sit your ass down somewhere, because you really don't even know what the hell is going on, right? And it'll be better for you because that prevents pain. And just like how you were saying, I'll let you know. I said this on IG. Communication is king, but comprehension is queen. I can tell you 100 times, but if you're not understanding it, then I'm a just SpongeBob. All right, I'm gonna hit out. Where you going? I'm leaving. Why? Because you're not listening.
I don't really need to tell you, actually. I'm just gonna separate myself, and if we come back, we'll come back.
if we're meant to come back, then we will. But like Jordan Peterson says it, if you're talking to somebody and they're not listening to you, stop talking to them. point blank and period, right? That goes back to what you were saying when it in regards to trying to force people to level up and do the work on themselves. It's like it's not our job to do that. And that's a journey within itself because of the intention. It takes energy working on yourself, crying for 3 hours at night, listening to music, stepping outside and grounding yourself, meditating. That's a lot of energy that you put into yourself. And that's work behind the scenes in the shadows that they don't know about. And so you've built this extraordinary life on your own. Somebody walks in like, this is nice. This is nice. The bed is soft, it's peaceful. You got candles. Oh my, is that why? It's okay. All right. And they're like, they stay for a little bit, but they know that.
That melonberry, what is the candle called?
Yeah, spiced blackberry. I'm gonna send it to you offline, man. I might have to just send a few of these to you because I know you'll like them.
You should just create an Amazon link, and then people could just buy the candles from
the Amazon link. That part. That's the knowledge that.
And I'll take 10% for that.
No, honestly though, honestly, like you got the knowledge. Now I'll accept my check in cash.
Now that you got my unasked for business advice,
man, you
can send payment via.
I take everything, cash preferably, but you're welcome. It's a responsibility. Like they see us due to our own growth. Just our presence is a responsibility on their part. They can't just be there fucking around. It's like the more I'm around this person, they're gonna trigger me in a good way. And if I'm not ready to look at myself, then either I gotta go or we gotta go.
This is not gonna be a good interaction at all. It's not gonna be fun for either of us. What's the point of that?
No, it's not good. It's not good. No.
Life is, meant to be fun, and I learned a lot of that. Especially when and there's times where I even need to separate myself. I need to completely separate my energy because I'm look, there's not going to be any change with the mindset that I have right now, towards whatever may be happening. So sometimes you need a week or sometimes 4 years or sometimes, whatever amount of time away from whatever that thing is to realize either you never needed it or that's something that you value and you're more ready for it now, and I think that happens mostly in relationships. People, they come across people who are very high vibrational like we are and have done the work and are continuing to do the work knowing that the work's never done. And they're like, holy shit, this is a big responsibility because they don't tolerate none of this shit that, this easy person can tolerate, that this easy person tolerates, and I say easy not in a way to be demeaning or anything like that, but you know what I mean? We're not so easy to fool, we're not, we ain't going for none of that shit. So
just because I don't say anything, it don't mean that I don't see it, bro.
We milking you butt for real, but on the mental game, not physically. We're nah, for ourselves, to protect ourselves. And as we should, it is our responsibility to protect ourselves, it's our natural instinct. But at the same time, from our last podcast, we talked about dipping the toe in, and now I just
with
go
the sock on.
I go full in, but I go in with a raft now, just in case I gotta pull my ass back real quick.
He's like, just escape.
The waves becoming too strong, can't be swimming that quick, So gotta pull yourself in real quick. I'm gonna keep myself attached to the yacht, and I might try to come save you, but if you do if you don't change, if you're starting to drown me, I'm leaving your ass there. Is what I'm saying.
And that's on Jordan Peterson. That's on him. For real though. If there was, because I know we're running short on time, but this has been good though, outside of the technical difficulties that I've had, please forgive me, y'all. We are work in progress, I'm saying? We build it as we fly, right?
They don't actually care. They don't. They don't give a fuck. You don't need to apologize to anyone. It happens. And lesson learned, pay your fucking subscription.
What she said. Damn it. God damn it. Yeah. Pay your subscription. If there was one thing that, if there was one issue that you noticed within our community, specifically the brown people and our generation, as it pertains to intimacy and people doing their own work on self, what would you tell people to do? How would you tell them to go about truly elevating to a higher status internally? Because a lot of people say that they want these things, right, from a materialistic place, but only you can only gain that based on what level of frequency you're vibrating on internally. So what advice would you give to the people?
Get over yourself. It's, get over yourself. Pick up a fucking book that you need to work on. Like, my first book was a Tony Robbins book, I'm sure, or Jim Rohn, something where I needed to get my mind right, think positively. Get over yourself. Like, you're not fucking perfect. Like, I had to get over myself. Like, that's what I did. I got over the fact that I thought I didn't need to change, or that this is who I am. Like, get over yourself. Like, it's not, and you don't have to be, and you can be whoever you want to be, and you're completely just in control and deciding who to be every moment. So pick up the fucking book. Like, that's what I would say. Just pick up the fucking book. Like, whatever book that is, pick it up, read it, commit to it. And once you commit to something, you show yourself you could commit to something for 6 months, I guarantee you'll do it for 6 years. And I guarantee if at the end of 6 years you became a multi-billionaire, you would do it.
And you got to send her 10% too, because that was just more gems. But go ahead.
Nah. Fuck the 10%. This is the value I bring to the marketplace. I don't even need 10% for that.
That's gems. Yeah.
Yeah, that's some real shit. Like, get over yourself, pick up the fucking book, humble yourself, do something for 6 months, commit to for 6 months. If nothing changes in 6 months, this is what I did. If nothing changed in 6 months, then I'll try something else. And then I'll keep trying for 5 years. And if nothing changes in 5 years, I'll just go back to who I was. But I'm letting you know right now, I'm at my 5-year mark in the personal development journey. And let me just say, I'm richer than I ever been, and not just monetarily. So.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, of course. Of course. Llama gang. Right. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here with Brittany. It's been a pleasure. Tell the people where that they can find you. Also, if you do still have openings for the event that's going to be dropping whenever you decide to release that date, y'all are more than welcome to get this information from the lady.
Yeah, so everything's in my bio at MoneyBagSpread on Instagram, elevatedproductions.com. You could go to vibrite.shop to get some CBD. Dorian has a code too, so y'all can get the hookup on that. Mm-hmm. Pretty much just I don't know, just go to Instagram, goddamn, and everything's in my bio. And if you can't do that, then I don't know, fuck. That's where you find me.
Can't do anything for you.
I don't know. That's really all. That's the only place I. So if you got Instagram, we're working on the other platforms. I'm not, but the team is. And once the team is done, the team is done. But that's not how you access me. So at MoneyBagSpread on Instagram, and everything else is there.
Yes, ma'am. Code vibrite.com. JustGriff, JUSTGRIFF. Check out the shop. Get yourself some CBD. Rub it on your skin after a hard leg day. Lay down, stretch a little bit. I promise you, you're going to be straight. Look at that right there. Look at that right there. Premium organic CBD. Look at it.
Premium organic USDA certified CBD.
Organic.
Oh my God. Look at how it just, love this. And then you just rub it, the lavender, eucalyptus. It's a shea butter. You can put on your lips.
Y'all got them chap things. I'm gonna need you to go on and maybe the Vaseline ain't working, so you might need some organic CBD slab. You get me?
No high key though.
Check it out.
You say was it POP? That's how we're gonna end it. POP.
POP. That's iconic. I'm gonna what's the word? How you do? I'm gonna copyright this shit. Don't take my shit. I'm gonna find out if you do, cause she gonna tell me. Peace over pussy. Llama gang, we out of here.